whole life.
Had a chance a couple of days ago to sit down with the new Marauders manager and Carlos Garcia. We're joined now by the new Pirates manager and Clint Hurdle. But before we talk major leagues, I want to take you back to your minor league managerial career. Tell me a little bit about what it's like kind of building your ranks up in the coaching side of things, and maybe how that differs from the way you do it as a player and the new challenges that there are when you go through the minor league system again.
It was a very anxious time. I don't think anybody prepares for that day when that comes, as far as, okay, you are a player now, you're going to be a manager. And I went from actually playing to managing in A-ball, Florida State League, which it's not a colossal leap by any sorts, but more often than not, guys are starting in low rookie ball or in rookie ball and moving their way up. I was fortunate that there was a vacancy. I had some people that supported me, believed in me. The fact it was 45 minutes from my home, that's what I was holding out for. I told them I said, I'm willing to manage if it's in St. Lucie. If it's not in St. Lucie, I threatened them with continuing to play, and it seemed to scare them off and to go ahead and succumb to my wishes. But challenging, exciting, anxious, knowing that you're not just trying to take care of yourself anymore. You're going to be in charge of and responsible for at least 25 young men. And I look back to my days in A-ball, what I knew, what I didn't know, what I thought I knew, what I didn't know, and the challenges that were there for me. So have some experience in doing it, but to be the front guy, to be the lead guy, it was an exciting time, and there was a lot of work to be done. And I was fortunate. I had a very good pitching coach at the time, Bob Apodaca, who had spent some time in the minor leagues.
What did you kind of learn right off the bat when it came to being a manager, especially at the minor league level, where you're kind of allowed to make those mistakes and learn from them?
Well, I mean, there's the learning part as far as in-game strategies. Then there's the learning part of how you how you're going to run your practice schedules. How early do you get them out there? You don't want to work them hard, because at that point it's all about development. It's not so much about winning. But are you leaving them enough gas in the tank to go out and play an effective game? You're also, for the first time ever, being responsible for a pitching staff. I think as players sometimes we've second-guessed managers all day long but we've never ever taken on the responsibility of what mandating or working with a pitching staff actually encompasses. So being aware of your starters' routines, what kind of routines do they need to get into. And I think the true separation of dealing with pitchers and position players, not so much that one's this and one's that, it's just they're different schedules. And to try to make sure you're at least somewhat on top of it, that you're aware of what's going on and there's rhyme and reason to it. Then the in-game strategies, that's the part of the game that still to this day, you always strive to put your players in a position to have success. That being said, there's times when you can maybe focus on putting a developmental task in front of just letting a guy go to win the game or rolling the dice. But I do think it takes a combination of all those, because I think players are respectful of the fact when there's certain tasks to be performed or offensive fundamentals, yes, and then the excitement of getting a hit and run rather than a bunt, of being let to be able to swing away and move a runner with a runner on second in the 12th inning and nobody out, rather than be forced just to bunt him to third. Leaving the pitcher in for another hitter, in front of 38 fans on the top of their feet, screaming and yelling. And then, of course, you don't have the media scrutiny that you do in A-ball. You don't have a press conference after the game. You don't have, all the different outlets second guessing or hopefully first guessing with you. That's the thing I always challenge me. Were you first guessing with me, or was just a straight second guess? It's all an experience, and it's a wonderful experience.
What was uniquely maybe Florida State League? That was the first place you were, and here you are in spring training ballparks with just brutal heat throughout the summer. What did you kind of learn going through that?
Well, there was some brutal heat throughout the summer, but you're also playing in major league spring training sites, which is a caveat of sorts. And then you don't realize, I went from being a player to a manager, still experiencing the good side of it. You know, you're going to Dodger Town. You're going over to the home of the Phillies, the home of the Dodgers, the home of the Cards, everywhere you're going, the home of the Blue Jays. Well, the real reality strikes in is when you go from that league and you go somewhere else and you start playing in different A-ball parks or in the AA parks that, at least when that was going on in '88, the AA parks now are gorgeous. More often than not, AAA parks are fantastic. Even A-ball parks. All the parks have been upgraded because there's so many financial opportunities for individuals to get involved in an organization and to actually make it a money maker at those levels. There was a day back when none of these things were too much of a money maker. They might break even. I think they might have done well for the ownership personally, but the facilities themselves, there was more historic ambiance than there was creative sight lines and structural places put together where you go, wow, that's beautiful.
I guess the last thing for you, let's bring it back to present day. A couple of people that played for the Marauders last year that maybe have some Pittsburgh Pirates aspirations at some point this year. Don't know how much you've gotten a chance to look at a guy like Jeff Locke or Brian Morris or even a Tony Sanchez and kind of what you've seen maybe of them going through this first minicamp.
Limited looks. Limited looks. The pitchers haven't been able to spend as much time with as the position players because we have a staggered schedule going out the door. I've had conversation and listened to conversation regarding both Locke and Morris. They're both well thought of in the organization. They both got work to do in front of them. The thing I'm probably as pressed about anything is the way all our young men have come into this camp. Camps have been spirited, they've been energetic, they've paid attention, all the things you expect. But then watching them get on the field and interact, whether it be the pitchers just through their conditioning, we're actually going to start some pen work today. But the position players, they're in a very good place for the time of year, which we are right now. I'm watching guys go out and sting the baseball with the barrel of the bat. I'm watching guys field balls crisp, throwing balls, and pitchers doing some of the same things. That part of it gives you a lot of optimism, knowing that we're still more than a month and a day away from the first day of pitchers-catchers camps. But those two young men in particular are like a handful of other young men we have here. Our scouting department has done a fantastic job the last 3 years, and our player development department has done a fantastic job the last 3 years about signing players, getting them into our system, and challenging them to get better. And the players are taking upon themselves the ownership of their own careers and are working very hard towards that goal of getting to the major leagues.
Clint, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.